Evening everybody, welcome back to the studios of Sound to Light here in Galway City. Well, after the excitement of the Junior Cup draw, and there was quite a lot of discussion in the last few minutes as we digested that draw, it's time to move on to another competition, well 6 in fact, that are just as special for the schools teams of the province. And I am talking about the draw for the Connacht Junior and Senior Schools Cups. There are going to be 6 draws, and they are Junior C, B and A and Senior C, B and A. So that'll give you an idea of the way that the format's going to run over the next few minutes. But for every one of those teams who will be taking part, it will be something to look forward to and an opportunity for maybe them to make a little bit of history. The Schools Cup has always been something special. We've always talked about the importance of the development of the game in the province, and John Davey is the chairperson of the Schools Committee in Connacht Rugby. And John, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
No problem.
As just a general oversight first, before we go into the draws themselves and maybe drag it out a wee bit, there is, like we talked about the Junior Cup for junior clubs, but when it comes to schools rugby, the Schools Cup is the big one. Leagues, you can do what you like with them. It's having that cup at the end of the day is what's important.
It's the pinnacle for a lot of young lads playing the rugby. To look forward to it all season. And for a lot of them, with being 3 years out of rugby, this is it.
And it's been very frustrating, I do understand, for schools teams and for schools rugby in general, because it just hasn't been possible to play games with restrictions and with all that was necessary and had to be done. So after that break, I mean, it was interesting to note that the last Senior Cup final, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later, but the last Senior Cup final was the last game played before restrictions kicked in 2020. So you were looking to get that game out of the way. But then there's been nothing since. And there's been the leagues, and they've gone very well. We saw some great games over the past number of weeks. But now that we move into the Cup, it's great to finally have those Cup games down for decision once these draws are made.
Absolutely. It's, as I say, it's what the lads have been looking forward to. Both teachers, principals and the pupils themselves. It's really what they've all been aiming themselves for is both the Junior and the Senior Cup. Cup is everything. And
one other thing, and that is, it's one thing that's been incredible to note, has been the growth of the schools game. Once upon a time it was just Senior and Junior Cup and that's it, but given the amount of schools have now taken up rugby, and I know this myself, my own daughter is in a national school in Glenamaddy. They've got coaching every Tuesday. She loves it. I mean, it's part of the work that's been done by schools right throughout the province in developing the game at national school, which then carries on to secondary schools, and then they take up the game and become competitive themselves. Hence the amount of schools that we have involved in all competitions now as compared to what may have been 20 years ago.
Oh, absolutely. Like I remember in my days going back, and that's a long time ago, playing with Summerhill. I think we were probably one of the first teams in Summerhill and now they're the mainstay of the senior competition. It's, it has moved on greatly over the last number of years. The profile of rugby has come on enormously over the last 15, 20 years.
And what is that down to? Is it because of Ireland's success internationally, or maybe what's been done, and we're here with the wonderful eagle behind us, because of what Connacht had done over the past number of years as well? Even 2016 won the Pro 12, but in the years before that it became more, for want of a better word, cool to like rugby, and that's the reason why more kids want to play it now, and the reason why more schools want to get involved.
Absolutely. Like when we look back, I was involved with the academy for a number of years, and just to see the profile of the players coming through, and years ago it was just lads who wanted to play rugby. Now we have athletes who want to play rugby, and they see probably a lifestyle coming out of it, and this is their way in. If you play well with a schools competition, it's your stepping stone into what could be the professional game.
And a great example, I'm sorry to interrupt, but a great example of that being the likes of Jack Carty, for example.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who came up through the schools games, but also likes of Niall Murray, and kind of, using Athlone maybe as a base, but the lads who've played, maybe not, as I say, fashionable schools, getting into the academy, getting involved with their clubs, getting into the academy, and now getting their opportunity at the professional game. That couldn't be done without a good schools programme in the province.
Absolutely not. And look, it's the profile of those lads you particularly mentioned. They could have played anything. They were that good of athletes, but they chose rugby, and that's shown the profile that rugby has now over what those lads, we wouldn't have seen them 20 years ago. They would have gone out to play something else.
So that's the reason why we're here tonight, and
Absolutely.
that is for the draws. And let's get on with it, because we've got a few draws to bring you. Like I said, we've got 6 draws in total. We will start with the Junior C Cup, then on to Junior B and Junior A, and then we'll move on to Senior, and that will be Senior C, Senior B and Senior A. Now, just to explain, there are some teams that are seeded in each of the competitions, and as you can see from the explainer and from the graphic, there will be one pool of 4, which will be Pool A, and then you've got 2 pools of 3, which are Pools B and C. The top 2 in Pool A and the winners of Pool B and C will qualify for the semi-finals. And as you also can see, the teams that will be involved in the Junior C Cup are Abbey, Connacht Huron, Gort Community School, Gortner Abbey, Portumna Community School, Santa Maria College in Lewisburg, Sculquinchach Huron, St. Jarlath's College, St. Mary's College in Ballygar, and St. Raphael's College as well in Loughrea. So it's going to be fascinating to see what happens over the next few minutes. Now, we will first of all mention the 3 teams that are seeded in the Junior C Cup, and they are Santa Maria College in Lewisburg, St. Mary's in Ballygar and St. Raphael's College. Those 3 are seeded. They will be the first teams that will be drawn out, and one will go into each pool, and then we will move on to the draw itself, which will see all the other schools get involved. So John, if you wouldn't mind, take the first team out. This team will go into Pool A and the group of 4, and they are Santa Maria College in Lewisburg. They will be in Pool A. Now remember, the top 2 teams in this pool, by the way, go into the semi-finals. The first team in Pool B are St. Raphael's College. St. Raphael's College are the first team in Pool A, and in Pool C, or Pool B I should say, Pool C is St. Mary's College in Ballygar. So they are our 3 seeded teams for the Connacht Junior C Schools Cup. And now we move on to the next part of the draw, which sees all the other schools involved. And the team that will be second up in Pool A are Sculquinchach Huron. Sculquinchach Huron are in Pool A alongside Santa Maria College in Lewisburg. In Pool B, it's St. Jarlath's College in Tuam. So they will be joining St. Raphael's. And the third team that we draw out, or the second team for Pool C, are Gort Community School. So we now have, before I go into just a quick recap again, Santa Maria College and Sculquinchach Huron in Pool A. In Pool B, St. Raphael's College and St. Jarlath's College, and in Pool C, St. Mary's College and Gort Community School. So the third team in Pool A are Abbey Community College. Abbey, they move into Pool A, and the last team in Pool B will be Gortner Abbey. Gortner Abbey in Pool B, and Pool C, Portumna Community School. Portumna Community School. So we have one team left, and this is the team that will be the 4th team in Pool A, and that is Connacht Huron Athlone. Connacht Huron Athlone are the 4th team in Pool A. And once again, to recap, the 4 teams in Pool A are Santa Maria College, you've got Sculquinchach Huron, Abbey Community College and Connacht Huron. In Pool B are St. Raphael's College, St. Jarlath's College and Gortner Abbey. And in Pool C, St. Mary's College in Ballygar, Gort Community School and Portumna Community School. Those competitions will be starting, John, in January, no doubt. And of course, it all builds towards March, really, which is the big month when it comes to schools rugby, because that's when the finals take place.
Yes, indeed. It'll be... Well, hopefully we get that far this time.
Please God we do. Please God we do. We're going to move on to the Junior B Cup draw now in a couple of moments. And to explain the Junior B Cup, you have got 4 pools of 3 teams. And this is where it gets very interesting, because of those pools, of course, you've got Athlone, Clifton, Connacht Ballyaclar, a team that have done very well lately, Connacht Anya and Salt Hill, Connacht Curbaha, Gallen Community School, Holy Rosary College in Montbellew, Pres Athlone Wright, Pres Hedford, Rice College in Westport, St. Gerald's College Castlebar, and St. Murdoch's College in Ballina, John. And just as a reference, I mean, I have to say, it's a very provincial wide and a little bit further. Of course, Gallen Community School coming into the Connacht game in more recent years and doing incredibly well.
Yeah, and we've had some great players over the years coming from there as well, from that area. It's Charlie Cooper in his prime when he was there, done a huge amount of work to get Gallen and the schools around Athlone into the competition, and it's his good work is paying paying dividends now.
Absolutely. Man has done immense work actually for the game of rugby overall, Charlie.
He's not finished yet.
I don't think so. And it'd be wrong of us to even suggest retirement at this stage. We move to the seeded teams in the Junior B Cup. Now there are 4 seeded teams, and they will be the first teams drawn out, and they will be allocated to their respective pools. So first team out will go into Pool A, second team out into Pool B, third is Pool C and Pool D, so on. And they are at Lone Community School, Connacht Schools, Connacht in Salthill, and Holy Rosary College in Montbellieu. So they are the teams, by the way, that are seeded in the Junior B Cup. So the first team that will go into Pool A will be, and they'll be very happy to see this, at Lone Community College will be the first team, and they are seeded and they are in Pool A. Next team and the first team in Pool B are Holy Rosary College, Montbellieu. Holy Rosary College in Montbellieu, a school that's done phenomenal work over the past number of years. The third team in Pool C are Connacht Galway College. Connacht are the first team in Pool C. And in Pool D, the last of our seeded teams are Connacht in Salthill. Connacht and Salthill are in Pool D. So we've got 8 teams left, and those 8 teams will now move to their respective pools. So the second team drawn out will go into Pool A. So who's going to join Athlone Community College in the Junior B Cup draw? And it's Clifton Community School. Clifton Community School, that wonderful academy, and of course a brilliant basis for Connemara clubs in the past. Second team, we mentioned a little while ago, is Gallen Community School. Will go into Pool B alongside Holy Rosary College in Montbellieu. Into Pool C alongside Connacht are Presentation College Athenry. Athenry going into Pool C. And into Pool D with Connacht are St Murdoch's College in Ballina. St Murdoch's College in Ballina are in Pool D. Now we keep going, and we're going to move to who's going to be with Athlone and Clifton. Well, the Clifton lads are probably going to be celebrating if they have to play these guys away from home, because it's Rice College in Westport. I'd almost say a local derby in some respects, give or take 20 odd miles. Moving to Pool B, and with Montbellieu and Gallen are Pres Headford. Presentation College in Headford are in Pool B. And in Pool C, alongside Connacht and Pres Athenry, is St Gerald's College Castlebar. St Gerald's College in Castlebar with Connacht and with Pres College Athenry. And the last team in Pool D are Connacht with Connacht. So we have an old city clash there, John. Actually, come to think of it, Connacht
Brilliant.
You know, Connacht and Connacht and St Murdoch's the jam and the sandwich.
The outsiders coming in.
But I mean, it's going to be, you can't actually pick out one pool there, because they're all very, very even, aren't they?
They are extremely even. Yeah. They'll all be happy.
Oh, they'll be delighted, I'd say. Especially anybody if you're from Clifton. Well, I suppose only across the road. Clifton to Rice College isn't actually that far, I suppose, if you go around the mountains.
Go around the mountains, yeah.
But it's still going to be that'll be a fascinating game. There's several games there that really stand out, and I know from my day job, the guys that from Montbellieu have done immense work there and worked really hard, and Gallen heading to Headford will also be a cracking game. But there are a lot of really good games to look forward to, and they are the pools for the Junior B Cup. And we're going to move on now to the Junior A Cup draw, and this is fascinating, I have to say. The Junior A Cup, John, I mean, they would say the more established teams, but as I look at this, and you look at the likes of CBS Roscommon, who in the last number of years have gone from very, very basic to where they are now in the Junior A Cup, and they've phenomenal players in that particular school. But you've also Connacht, Garberley College, Maris, Sligo Grammar, Summerhill, and of course the Bish. These are the games that the crowds love, the parents love, and the players love.
Absolutely, everyone looks forward to it.
Really do.
Everyone.
Well, we move on to the draw for that Junior A Cup. Now, as we've seen, and as you do see and as you saw from the explainer, that there are 7 teams in the Junior A Cup. There will be one pool of 4 and one pool of 3. The top 2 in each pool will qualify for the semi-final. John, just before I go to the draw, if you were a coach, what would you rather? Would you rather the pool of 4 or the pool of 3? Probably the pool of 3, because there's more of a chance of getting the semis. Or is that fair?
Yes, you have to be.
The pool of 3 would be the obvious
one.
It's going to be real. Yeah.
Well, it's always a tester as to when you're in a group of 4 who you're going to get. So it's there'll always be a banana skin in there.
Absolutely. And let's move to the seeded teams who are in the Junior A Cup, and they are Maris College, Sligo Grammar, Summerhill College and the Bish. They are the 4 seeded teams for the Connacht Junior A Cup. So let's go with the first of the seeded teams who will go into Pool A, and they are the Bish. The Bish will go into Pool A, and the first team into Pool B will be Sligo Grammar. Sligo Grammar. I think Jimmy Gavin is still coaching up there, so he'll be a very happy man to see. He'll be a very fascinated man actually to see himself in the group of 3. Could be the group of death. Second team into Pool A are Summerhill College. Summerhill College. They're not going to love you, John, for that. Moving on to the second team in Pool B, and it is Marist College. So Marist College in with Sligo Grammar, which leaves us with just 3 teams. And let's see who gets who. So Sligo Grammar and Marist College. Already I can see a mouth-watering tie between those 2 schools in the Junior A Cup, and already the coaches are writing frantically as to how they are going to come up with a game plan to win those games. The third team in Pool A, and this team will join the Bish and Summerhill, are connachtrugby.ie. The Jazz and the Bish. You'll have to get the sports ground for that game. And the third team in Pool B are Galway College. Galway College, the third team in Pool B. So we now know the second pool, and that is Sligo Grammar, Marist College and Galway College. And the last school, of course, the fourth in Pool A, and that is Roscommon CBS. So who's going to be making their way to the 4G venue in Craigs to take them on? Well, it will be the Bish, Summerhill and connachtrugby.ie for those games. And in Pool A and in Pool B, you've got Sligo Grammar, Marist College and Galway College. Quick observation, John, on that. Again, like with the others, the Junior C and Junior B Cup competitions, incredibly tight, incredibly exciting, and there's going to be some real crackers there.
There's nothing easy there.
Not a thing. And obviously, St. Patrick's Week has been traditionally the school's cup final, weekend or week for that. And they always got a great crowd at the sports ground or wherever the games are played. And there's a real sense of atmosphere and occasion with these finals now.
It's massive, absolutely massive. And for a lot of schools, in the last couple of years, it's been their first time. Like Summerhill were a number of years ago. You had CBS and the last ones. It's been brilliant to see new schools coming into the competition.
It really is, and there's so much colour now and excitement. And I know we live in different times and social distancing, and we have to, reference that and COVID and all that goes with it. I hate to say it, but it's unfortunately that's there. We have to deal with it. That's something that is an extra challenge to organisers now and to schools themselves to make sure that everything is kept safe and to be able to get the games played and still keep everything safe.
It's a big ask for youngsters to keep themselves safe, and it's not just themselves they're letting down. If something happens, it's the school they're letting down. So we'll go ahead and we'll hope for the best. Absolutely. And all the teams enjoy it. And the very best of luck to all the teams that are involved in the Junior Cup. We now have the draws and they are up, but it's now time for the Senior Cup draws. And the won it, and the last game, as we mentioned, and I said we'd talk a little bit more about this, the fact that we managed to get a final played in 2020 was remarkable. It gave us a great final as well, Galway beating Sligo Grammar 14-12. And you have the Senior B Cup competition, of course. I think St Murdoch's beat the Bish in the final of that, and the Senior C Cup didn't get a chance to get played because of restrictions. Now that was 2020. We're now looking forward to 2022. So for these senior teams, this is something they can get their teeth really into. And they've been incredibly busy over the autumn months in preparation with the different leagues and all that goes with that. The whole strength and conditioning to get these lads back up to match fitness has been a huge thing for all coaches, the S&C lads, everyone involved in the club. It's taken a huge amount of dedication from the lads themselves to get themselves to this level. So we just look forward to it. Yeah. Hopefully everything will they'll get their wishes.
Well, we've left them hanging long enough. I think it's time we got the Senior Cup draw out of the way. But unfortunately, if you're waiting for the Senior A Cup, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, because we're going to do the Senior C and Senior B Cups first. And we will move on to the Senior C Cup. Again, there are seeded teams in this, and they are Connacht Schools Cup. You've also Pres Athenry, Pres Headford and Santa Maria College in Louisburg. And the format for the Senior C Cup, again, one pool of 4, one pool of 3, top 2 in each pool make it through to the semi-finals. And the schools that are there, as you can see from the graphic, are Connacht Schools Cup, Gallen Community School, Gortner Abbey, Pres Athenry, Pres Headford, Santa Maria College in Louisburg, and St. Louis in Kilshima, St. Louis Community School. So if we will get the seeded teams drawn out first, so you will have the first team, as always, drawn out. First team drawn out will be in Pool A, and then moving on to Pool B. We will start with the first team, who are Pres Headford, are in Pool A of the Senior C Cup. Presentation College, Headford. And the first team in Pool B are Connacht Schools. Connacht Schools Cup, Clare Galway College, had a big win over Montbellew actually, just a few days ago in Corinthian Park. Now we move into Pool A again, and the second team drawn out are Pres Athenry. Presentation College, Athenry. The second team in Pool B are Santa Maria College in Louisburg. So Santa Maria College and Connacht Schools Cup will lock horns. So they are our seeded teams. So we now know where the seeded teams are in their respective pools. And now we move on to the 3 remaining teams who will be joining them in Pool A and in Pool B of the Connacht Schools Senior C Cup. And in Pool A will be Gallen Community School. Gallen Community School joining Pres Athenry and Pres Headford in Pool A. And the last team in Pool B, alongside Santa Maria College, Louisburg and Connacht Schools Cup, are Gortner Abbey. So Gortner Abbey will be in Pool B. And finally, the last of our teams, the fourth team in Pool A, are St. Louis Community School. St. Louis Community School alongside Pres Headford, Pres Athenry, Gallen Community School and St. Louis Community School. And again, John, great job, because you've kept it very even. It has to be said.
Thank you very much.
It's very even.
I see how the Senior Cup goes before I take a bow.
Yeah, well, it's actually, I mean, that's the thing. It's very hard to pick a winner. You can't. It's very, very hard to pick a winner out of that. There's no, and it's funny when we make the reference beforehand, but there's no team that stands head and shoulders above everybody. And that's what makes this year's competition so special. They are so even.
Yeah. It's, I suppose we don't know the form because we haven't had enough rugby. So it's, you know, up to this, you would have had a few years to look at teams coming through and progressing. We haven't had that. So this is...
It really is a
case. You just don't know what's going to happen next.
It really is a case of going into the unknown for these guys. And of course, remember, it's been 2 years in some cases, even 3 in others. Mm-hmm. So teams that would have had decent junior teams, you don't know what their progression is like to senior now. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they actually do with the Senior C Cup. And we're going to move on now to the Senior B Cup draw. And again, you've got seeded teams, by the way, in the Senior B. Again, one pool of 4 teams, one pool of 3. You also have 4 seeded teams in this. And the 4 seeded teams in the Senior B Cup are Athlone Community College, Connacht in Salt Hill, Holy Rosary College in Montbellew, and St. Jarlath's College in Tuam. And they will be joining Rice College, St. Paul's Oak Derard and the Bish in the Senior B Cup. So again, our seeded teams will be drawn out first for their respective pools. First team going into Pool A, second team into Pool B, and so on. And the first team in Pool A are Holy Rosary College in Montbellew. Holy Rosary College in Montbellew, they are the first team that have been drawn. Just to show you that there, they will be in Pool A. We move to Pool B, and the first team in Pool B, and this is St. Jarlath's College in Tuam. So St. Jarlath's Tuam will be the first team in Pool B of the Senior B Cup. 2 more seeded teams to draw out, and it will be Athlone Community College who will be in Pool A alongside Holy Rosary College, Montbellew. I think Montbellew play their home games in Monavea these days. And the second team in Pool B, nearly dropped it, Connacht in Salt Hill. It's Connacht in Salt Hill, the second team in Pool B alongside St. Jarlath's College in Tuam. So we have 3 teams remaining, and they will now go into their respective pools, Pool A and Pool B. So who's going to be joining Holy Rosary College, Montbellew, and Athlone Community College in Pool A? And it is the Bish. So the Bish with Athlone and Montbellier. Next up are St. Paul's Oughterard, who go into Pool B alongside St. Giles College Hume and Connacht Schools, and that's a tasty group, I have to say. And the last team in Pool A, and they are Rice College in Westport. So you have great geographical spread actually in Pool A between Montbellier, Athlone, the Bish and Rice College. It's again 7 brilliant teams and 2 very tight groups.
Yep, it's really is. It's a real mix, the whole province.
Absolutely. And just to mention, I want to repeat again, by the way, and this is the situation if you've only just joined us and you've just switched on. As regards the semi-finals, the top 2 in each pool qualify for the semi-finals. So in the Senior C Cup, the top 2 in their pools, Senior B Cup, top 2 in theirs, and of course we move on to the Senior A Cup, and like I said, a competition that is so historic and so special, and this is it. I mean, this is what they all, if I may, I never played Schools Cup rugby, so I can't say I've ever lifted it, but I mean, when you actually look at the teams and the roll of honour that are on the plinth, I mean, you've Connacht Schools in 2016, 17, Galway College 18 and 19, but you can go back to like Sligo Grammar in 2002, Marist College in Athlone in 2012. Yeah. I mean, they always say that, there are certain teams that are, say, set out for Senior Cup glory, regardless of whatever province they're involved in, whether it be Ulster, Connacht, Leinster or Munster. The one thing about the increase of teams and the fact that more teams have come into Senior A now, the likes of Roscommon CBSs who made their way all the way to the final, and that was a very historic year for them, and of course your own school in Summerhill and others. Everyone, this is their ambition, is to win a Senior Cup, because not many of them can do that.
No, absolutely. It's something that I suppose all the coaches, all the players, everyone strives to get. That's their ambition, is to get to that. I say it for the players, as we said earlier, it gives them a stepping stone. If they think this is where they want to be, to play rugby and play it at a senior level, well, this is the stepping stone to move on, either to the club game or on to hopefully for them, the academies and the professional game.
And we can't stress this enough. This is so important to so many people, that a good cup run for your school, there is the prestige that goes with it, but there's also the interest that goes with it, because you've seen schools coming from left field, and while it may look like the names are very familiar on the winners, it's those teams who get in the semi-finals that maybe shock 1 or 2 teams along the way. They're the real headline makers. They're the ones who really make the news.
Yeah, well, if you look at if you look at CBS a number of years ago, they took a lot of big teams down, and that's always the issue. You don't know what's coming, or like as I say, in the current climate, we don't know what's coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible this year's Senior Cup, and I have no doubt already the excitement is building amongst these schools. So we better get this job. We in fairness, we've kind of let them drag a little bit. So let's now just mention before we go any further, I'm just going to mention the seeded teams again in the Senior A Cup. Now there are 4 seeded teams, and they are Connacht Schools, Galway College, Marist College and Sligo Grammar. They are your 4 seeded teams, and they will be joining Roscommon CBS, or CBS Roscommon, St. Murdoch's College and Summerhill College, who are the other teams. 4 teams in Pool A, 3 teams in Pool B, if I better get that right. Top 2 teams in each pool go through to the semi-final themselves, and as always, and has been the case throughout the draw, the 4 teams that are seeded are going to be drawn out first and put into their respective pools. So, John, if you wouldn't mind, let's get the first of our seeded teams drawn out, and going into, I think we can call them the defending champions. Going into Pool A are Galway College. Galway College are in Pool A. First team into Pool B are Connacht Schools. Connacht Schools, winners actually of the Connacht Junior Cup itself in 1905, and a team of great history and tradition in the game. Well, when these teams meet in Pool A, I'm going to be going to this game, because it's Marist College who are in Pool A alongside Galway College. Marist College and Galway College, and the second team that are going into Pool B alongside Connacht Schools are Sligo Grammar. Sligo Grammar in Pool B. So we have 3 teams left. And those three teams are now going into the draw. So into Pool A, alongside Garbally College and Marist College, will be, thank you very much, and they are Summerhill College. So Garbally College, Marist College and Summerhill College. That is phenomenal. Into Pool B, the third team, the last team that will be in Pool B. Remember, we have 2 teams left. And they are St. Murdoch's College, Ballina are in Pool B, alongside Connacht and Sligo Grammar. And that means that it is going to be CBS Roscommon who go into Pool A, alongside Summerhill, Marist College and Garbally College. And they, John, again, impossible to pick a team that stands out there, but there are some games that are really going to be worth watching. There
some
really
tasty
are
games in that. Some really close encounters.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we're hoping for anyway.
I can't wait to see Garbally College and Roscommon CBS as an example. I mean, it's a bit of a that'll be a clash and a half. Marist College, Summerhill, Connacht, Sligo Grammar, St. Murdoch's. Every single one of those teams will have ambitions of winning the Senior Cup, being in the sports ground on Cup final day. The Clan Terrace packed with their supporters. The noise, the atmosphere, just everything that goes with Senior Cup final day, whenever that is. But just to go back on the dates again, these competitions will start in January and then progress from there on to March.
That's correct. Yeah, for the month of January has kind of been put aside for the pool games to be played, and then over a period of 2 or 3 or a couple of weeks until the weekend or the week of the St. Patrick's week will be Cup final week.
Absolutely. And are all finals being played, or do we even know that yet, if all finals are going to be in the sports ground?
We haven't that confirmed yet. That's hopefully.
Well, we keep our fingers crossed that we can
happen.
happen. We keep our fingers crossed that does happen. And quiz question for anybody for the next few weeks is, who's going to be the team that are going to hold this? If I can, John Davey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed for your company. And I'm going to actually bring this cup down with me for a minute. I'm not going to drop it, I promise. But I am going to tell you that of all the teams that have been drawn, and you now see those draws behind me, we're in for something truly special with the Connacht Junior and Senior Cup competitions, whether it be Junior CBA, Senior CBA, it doesn't matter. If your school are involved, wish you the very, very best of luck. As for who's going to be taking this home on St. Patrick's week, well, I'm afraid, well, it's still your guess as good as mine. We just have to wait and see how the pools progress in January onto the semi-finals and the finals themselves. Before I go any further, I just want to say a very special word of thanks to John Davey behind me, of course, John Carr, who also did the Junior Cup draw a little earlier on, to all the guys in Connacht Rugby, Richard, Stephen, and many, many others, and of course the guys at Sound to Light, too many to mention, but without them this simply wouldn't happen and couldn't happen. And to you for watching, thank you very much indeed. The very best of luck to your school, very best of luck to your team over the next number of weeks, and we hope that is a successful one for you. But from here in Sound to Light, that's where we leave it for now, and let's enjoy, hopefully, a cracking couple of months of rugby starting in January. From all of us here, thank you for watching and good night.